Hey baddies, welcome to Baddie Diaries, another episode where I break down the journey to six figures, I suppose, is what we're on here. Let's see who is joining. So once you're in here, let me know where you're calling in from, where you're dropping in from. I want to hear where you guys are from. But basically, what we're going to be talking about today is how to go from freelancer to business owner so that you can make bank. This is part mindset shift and part strategy. And I think the thing that you really need to do if you want to actually make six figures in your business, you want to actually scale and you want to stop just selling your time for money. So that is what we are talking about today. Hey, Claudia. Thanks so much for joining. I'm so excited to have you here. All right. So I want to really start this off by talking about my experience as a freelancer. So a few years ago, when I was still on my entrepreneurial journey, trying to test different ideas. So in February of 2020, I basically went on my own. I quit my corporate job and I just started testing different business ideas. I had no idea what I was doing. I was so green. But I managed to get a freelance writing gig towards the end because I was super burnt out from testing all these different business ideas. And so I decided that I was just going to freelance, write for a bit and to kind of make some cash, right? And so I started freelance writing, which was great. But at a certain point, I realized that I was just selling my time for money. And so I was like, this doesn't really make sense. I want to scale myself. So if I'm actually going to go out on my own and make money on my own, I don't really want to just make as much money as I would make in a regular job. So I really wanted to scale myself where I'm not actually being paid for my time, right? So, because I wasn't sure how to build leverage at the time, I decided to go back to corporate because I was like, I may as well just get paid a premium rate because as a product manager, I get paid way more as a freelance writer. So, that shift I've thought about for a really long time. When I was back in corporate for like 10 months before I quit my business again last year in September and started this business, that really bothered me. I was like, okay, like I want to make more money than I can in corporate, but I don't want to just like sell my time for money and burn out as a freelancer. And so this time round, when I started my business in September, I started it with a completely different mindset. And that mindset was not of a freelancer, it was of a business owner. I'm going to take a quick pause because today is actually a really special day for me because it is the official launch day of my new course called the LinkedIn Baddie Primer. This is perfect for you if you have like an abandoned LinkedIn profile, but you know that LinkedIn is where your ideal clients are. You don't really know how to get started. You don't really know how to like update your profile or build your network or create content. You're not sure what's going to get engagement and bring you in leads on LinkedIn. This is literally the only course that you need. It's based on the LinkedIn Baddie program, which is a live program, but I've turned it into a course with 3 modules for the profile, the network, and content. And the reason I'm bringing this up right now is because that course is an important piece of treating yourself as a business owner on LinkedIn, because I teach you how to uniquely position yourself on your profile. I teach you how to actually build a community of future buyers who really want to hire you specifically for your kind of vibe as well as your skills. And then the type of content, and this is what I really want to stress on, and I'm going to talk a lot about this in this live, is about content, because content is how you can differentiate yourself as a business owner as opposed to a freelancer. So I just wanted to call that out. It is official launch day today. It's $397, which is honestly a steal. There's also a payment plan. So if you're interested in the LinkedIn Baddie Primer and you are someone who is currently promoting your services on Instagram, but you know that you need to get on LinkedIn because that's where your best clients are, but it feels like Narnia, you don't really know where to start, send me a DM and you should grab the LinkedIn Baddie Primer because it is honestly the best thing I've created in my entrepreneurial career. But anyway, so that's if you want to get some help getting started on LinkedIn. But so today, what I really want to focus on is basically like 5 things to do to go from freelancer to business owner. So let's get started. The first one is you really need to switch your mindset. So you need to switch your mindset away from being a freelancer. And the way to do this is you need to think about what you do as more than just providing services. Like you have to think about the outcome that you're driving and the transformation that you're providing to your clients. So it's not just I'm a freelance writer. You're not just someone who writes words, but what is the actual impact? Are you helping people increase their brand awareness? Are you helping people with their SEO? Are you helping them build a brand by sharing thought leadership content? Like, what is the outcome that you're actually producing? That's a really big way to start shifting your mindset of how you see yourself, because a freelancer is typically someone who you hire because you don't really have the time to do something. Yes, there's expertise, but it's a bit more commodified. So like if you go on Upwork, for example, you're going to see like thousands of freelance writers who can write for like, I don't know, like a blog post for like $5 or something. That's because they're literally just, you're outsourcing the fact that you don't have the time to write your own blog post, but they're not positioning themselves as someone who can do more for you than just do this task that you don't have time for, if you know what I mean. And so you need to really start looking at yourself as almost like a leader instead of an implementer. So you're not someone who clients bring in and tell what to do, almost like an employee. So if you're working with your clients and it kind of feels like you're an employee because they're telling you what to do, that means you're a freelancer. So you need to change your mindset. And I think the hardest thing to do is to actually switch your mindset and then decide that you're going to go after higher caliber clients. So I did this recently where I decided to really raise the standard for the type of clients that I work with in my business. And there was actually like a chasm that happened when I first kind of raised that standard. And so sometimes it's about holding that space where you've elevated and now the market kind of needs to catch up. And so this is where you really need to switch your mindset to look at yourself as a business owner, like someone who is creating an impact on the world instead of someone who is just kind of like waiting for the next client to hire them and slot them into whatever, like basically kind of like almost be told what to do. So switching the mindset is really important. And something that I found really helps is even just talking about what you do in terms of the outcome that you provide instead of just like your titles. So whenever anyone asks me what I do, like you'll never really hear me say like, oh, I'm a business coach or I'm a LinkedIn coach, or I'll say that if I don't want to talk to someone. Like if I want to just end the conversation, I'll be like, oh, I just do marketing or something. But if I'm actually representing myself, I'll say like, I help entrepreneurs build businesses on LinkedIn, because I'm not a freelancer. I'm a business owner. I create impact in the world. And the transformation that I provide to my clients is they can build their business on LinkedIn, right? So the way that you talk about yourself is going to really drastically change how others see you as well. Because if we don't see ourselves as a real business owner with a real impact and real value that we provide, and not just someone on Upwork, people are going to that's going to change the way that you talk about yourself. It's going to change who you talk to. It's going to change how other people perceive you as well. So your mindset is really, really important. And I want to share a really great post that one of my someone in my community on LinkedIn posted. And the reason I want to share her post is honestly because she is not a viral LinkedIn influencer. I'm so tired of people just only sharing, being like, how to update your profile as like the top 1% creator. It's like, you don't have to be the top 1% creator on LinkedIn to have something smart to say. So I want to read you out Akanksha Patnaik's LinkedIn post. I'm going to actually send her a DM and tell her that I mentioned her, but I love this post because she said 1.5 years in business has changed this thing about me completely, and it's mindset. She say, let's see how my mindset has shifted from there to now. I can't talk today. So I'm going to read the first thing. So she's saying she went from feeling like, oh, I've gotten an inquiry from a client, I have to convert this client, to, oh, I've gotten an inquiry, I have to make sure that we're a right fit for each other. So drop an emoji in the chat right now if you're picking up on what I'm saying here. Is instead of like, you're looking at it as, instead of jumping to every person that wants to potentially work with you, you're actually holding your ground and you're saying, hey, like, do I actually want to work with this person? Because one of the big differences between a freelancer and a business owner is, like, freelancers sometimes tend to just take the work that they can get. But when you switch to business owner, you're actually being really selective with who you're working with. And this is really important because you're preserving the quality and the impact of your work. Because when you work with the right people, that's when you're actually going to get the right results. And so a lot of the time we get stuck in the freelancer sort of cycle because we want quick cash, or like we can't, we need to have runway. Then we start to work with the wrong people. And then we're not really getting consistent results. We're not able to really show like the result that we're able to provide for that specific person, because we're kind of jumping around. And now our client results are all over the place and they're not laser focused like they should be. And so being selective is so, so important. So let me know if this is landing. Drop an emoji in the chat if this makes sense to you and you're like, yes, I definitely want to select the clients that I work with. I don't want to work with everyone. Hey, RP, thanks so much for joining. Got some people on the Instagram here. So I'm just walking through one of my connections who created an amazing LinkedIn post talking about really the mindset shift from freelancer to business owner. The other thing that she said was going from the mindset of, I've got a discovery call today, I'll try my best to sell my services, to, I've got a discovery call today, I'll try my best to understand the prospect's struggles and project goals so that I can help them with my services and skills. So again, it's flipping it from like, I hope I'll get this sale, to like, oh, I better really understand this person's needs. It's almost like you're thinking about yourself in the future, because I think as a freelancer, we just think as like, oh, I need the next client so I can have the next, invoice paid or something. But then you're not thinking about your future self. And what your future self wants is a good client to work with, great results, and something that's within your specialty, right? And so when you prioritize understanding what who the client is and whether they're the right fit, then you're actually in control of the results that you're providing, right? You're not just kind of like running to whoever needs you in that moment. This is a big one too. So she says, going from I will do exactly what the client says and wants, to I will make sure to listen to the client's needs, but I will also bring in my expertise as a designer to offer viable solutions. So I love this one because it really touches on that whole idea of being a leader as opposed to an implementer. And so this is really important because as a business owner who's driving a real impact, you want to basically show that you have a unique approach and you have a unique opinion, and you're willing to actually tell the client that, right? Like, I think people are very hungry for like honest providers, and they don't want to just hear what they want to hear, but they want actual honesty from you, right? So that's kind of an element of being more of a business owner as opposed to a freelancer. So the second thing I want to talk about is how you actually charge for your services. So I talked about this before, like selling your time for money. So what you want to do is you want to build packages that are based on value and the outcome that you provide. So a lot of the time, like freelancers, we tend to charge by the hour, or charge by like a very tangible deliverable, like a blog post or something. But the trick to switching to more of a business owner mindset and business owner type of selling is to talk more about the actual value that you provide and the outcome that you're driving, right? So for me, for example, when I used to, create LinkedIn profiles for people, I used to call it LinkedIn profile optimization in the beginning, but then I switched it to like a really branded name because and more about the outcomes. I switched it to lead magnet LinkedIn presence because the goal here is to turn your profile into a lead magnet. So yes, you're getting the about section rewritten from me. You're getting like the visuals and a little bit of training on how to build your network and all that stuff. But at the core of it, I'm helping you turn your profile into a lead magnet so that your ideal clients buy from you basically, right? So that is actually an outcome as opposed to a deliverable. So packaging your offers in terms of value. That's really the big thing here that will differentiate you from being a freelancer to a business owner who can actually charge more money, because when you're talking about the outcome and the transformation, that is more valuable than just words on a page. So the third thing that I want to talk about, which is really honestly probably very, very central to this topic, is differentiating yourself in your content. So when I see content from people who are more kind of like the freelancer type of person, is I don't really see much of you in your content. So I'm seeing your tips, I'm maybe seeing your client case studies and stuff like that, but there's nothing really about you. Like, what is your personal brand? Because that really, I think what differentiates, now that I actually think about it, what really differentiates freelancers versus business owners is this idea that business owners have a brand. So you're not just selling a service, but you're actually selling almost like a philosophy, like a movement or something like that. And the difference here is I can almost tell from your content, your approach and your vibe and your philosophy, because you're not commoditized. You are very differentiated uniquely depending on essentially who you are, like your story, what it is that you've done, like what are some of the things that you've done in the past that were either successful or not successful. What are your values? I think that's really the differentiator here. I talk a lot about my values in my content because for kind of two reasons. Number one, because I want to attract the right type of person. So I really want to, as a business owner, not a freelancer, I really care about the type of people that I work with. And I'm looking for a very specific type of person with a very specific type of mindset. And so when I create content, I really differentiate myself by using my values to magnetize those people in. So that's kind of the first reason. The second reason is because that is literally how you stand out. So people don't really hire you for your skills. That's kind of like table stakes. You have to have those. People will hire you because you just they vibe with you. You give them a good feeling. You make them see a different version of themselves. You make them feel empowered. You understand them. You have a similar story. You're relatable. These are all the human elements that actually make people want to say, I want to work with you as opposed to the other person. And this is really critical when you're competing in the market, because if you're a freelancer and you don't have a personal brand, you're forever going to be competing on price because there isn't really anything else. But when you build a brand, it's now people are buying into your philosophy. This is more than just a service. This is you are casting a vision for people. You are paving the way for them to become a new version of themselves, right? And a new version of their business. And this is where really content is so massive. And that's why personal content works so well on LinkedIn, is because people want to get to know you. And that's really, again, a big difference between business owner and freelancer is we can actually see who you are beyond just the service that you provide. And I'm actually going to mention Akanksha again because she's a really great connection of mine. We connected maybe a few months ago or something. She did a post the other day where she talked about how she didn't used to really want to share like her life and like personal stuff because she felt kind of like imposter syndrome, or she felt kind of like LinkedIn had to be professional, like you have to talk about like your services and your expertise. But then she made a shift and she was like, I started talking about my story more. And I actually found that I was able to get more engagement and I was able to create a better connection with my audience. Like more leads were coming in because, again, like people want to get to know you. That's what's going to magnetize them to you, specifically providing that service, instead of them just being like, oh, like who's the cheapest person or who has the best value, like package or something like that. They're of course looking at that stuff, but they're also going to look at you. And so this is what I really want to kind of hone in on here is this is where you can charge more, because when you are not just providing a service, but you're actually providing like a transformation with a philosophy that you practice that your clients can buy into in order to create a big future for themselves, that's way more compelling than just some freelancer offering a service. That's where you can increase the value of what you provide, because you are really inspiring people to become a completely different, like you're making them do something that they didn't think was possible, right? Hey, thank you so much for coming. I'm so excited. We got some good baddies in the IG live. Have Lisa joining me this morning. Lisa's literally the best person. She's like the happiest person you'll ever meet. Like everyone needs to take a page out of her book. Okay, so content. So this is honestly why. So I'll tell you an example. I posted a piece of content in January that was like me in a car selfie, which by the way, they call me car selfie woman now on LinkedIn because I post a lot of pictures of car selfies. And I had posted this picture with a post saying like, I basically don't like hustle culture. And that post actually converted. And someone who was previously a stranger paid me 4 figures for one of my offers for my lead magnet LinkedIn presence. And the reason for this is because I was doing more than just create her profile for her. I was helping her cast a vision for her future, for her business that did not include hustle culture. And so this is a lot bigger to her than just like a LinkedIn profile, right? And so this is where like when you talk about your story and what you stand for and what you believe in, you're going to magnetize people to you and they're not going to want to go buy from anyone else, right? So I think that is really the big shift that I've seen is when I have leads coming in on LinkedIn from my content, they're not just tapped on to what I'm talking about and the service that I can provide. They are literally tapped on to me. Like they're like, I want to work with you specifically because of your energy, your story, and your experience. You don't really get that as a freelancer, right? But you need to actually put yourself out there in your content and actually really be vulnerable and share who you are and what you stand for that's different from everyone else. This is honestly what I think most people really struggle with, because I see so many people on LinkedIn creating content and it kind of feels like freelancer content where you're just sharing kind of like the tip, you're sharing like, the hack, you're sharing the free tool and all that stuff. But it's like, there's nothing that's tying it to you. Like I should be able to see your content and know that it's you without looking at your name. I know that feels so kind of like far away to attain, but if you put in the reps and you actually talk about yourself and your content, it will start to really truly magnetize people. Hey, thanks for joining. We got a lot of people on the IG live, not that many people on the YouTube live, not sure where they went. But content. So content is the biggest differentiator, especially when you create it through the lens of your personal brand. That is what's going to differentiate you from a freelancer to a business owner. And so because I am literally so obsessed with content, and I've had so many people lately in my DMs being like, how do you create like such good content and all that stuff? And honestly, it's because I treat it as a self-expression. My content is an extension of me, an extension of my business, an extension of what I believe in. And that's why people get magnetized by it, because it's actually like, it's real. And I want more people to create this type of content because there isn't enough of it out there. And that is what's going to help you make more money, because you're going to be positioning yourself and staying top of mind. And so I'm working on a new offer that is basically like a content membership. I'm still hashing out the details, but it's basically for you if you are struggling to get consistent with your content on LinkedIn. You're not really sure what type of content to create. You want to share your story, but you don't really know like what types of story to sell or share. What's like too vulnerable, what's like vulnerable enough, like what's boring, what's like actually going to differentiate you. And so if you're interested in learning how to create better content for LinkedIn and also getting a little bit of custom feedback in like, joint Q&A sessions, there's probably going to be like group Q&A sessions or something in the membership. You'll get basically content ideas, and then you'll also get like a few trainings that you can watch on, for example, like how to create a good hook, how to create your content strategy, the 4 types of content that you need to post in order to generate leads on LinkedIn. Send me a DM on Instagram or LinkedIn, because this is your chance to co-create something into what you want it to look like. I'm chatting with quite a few baddies on what they want to see in the membership. And so the offer is slowly developing, but I want you to let me know if there's something particular that you would want in there. If you're interested, there will be a special deal for people who join early at the founding rate. And so send me a DM if this is something that sounds appetizing and you would love to use your content to position yourself as a legitimate business owner, creating an impact and transformation for your clients, not just a freelancer selling their time for money. So send me a DM. I'd love to chat. Before I wrap up here, I want to talk about the last piece of going from business owner to freelancer. And that really is a long-term mindset. So it's really easy to get stuck in the feast and famine cycle as a freelancer, because obviously we want to pay the bills. But this is where you will get, or you may get stuck in a loop of never up leveling. And so what I'm saying is, if we're constantly living paycheck to paycheck or like invoice to invoice in our business, we're not really able to be as selective with the clients that we work with. And so we end up kind of getting into a cycle where it's like, okay, we kind of want to work with better clients, but we need a client right now. So we end up kind of succumbing to whoever is looking to work with us at the time. Then we are, again, not up leveling. We're serving this client now who is not a higher caliber client. We're probably like over delivering and like burning out because they're not the right client. They don't really see the value for what we provide fully. And we're never leveling up. So we're constantly stuck in this cycle. And so the way that I got out of that cycle personally last year was I basically kind of put my business on hold for a month, and I built out a new offer that was going to be like a higher ticket offer. So again, like, either you create a little bit of runway for yourself, so you sign a few more clients to create a little bit of space for yourself to level up, because again, there's going to be that chasm, right? When you decide to level up the standard in your business, there's going to be a chasm. There's going to be a little bit of time where the market needs to align to you. Either your clients or your people in your audience need to kind of understand this up level, or you need to bring more people into your audience in order to actually get the people who are going to buy these higher ticket offers, right? And so you need to have a long-term mindset, and you need to create that space in your business in whatever way that you can. And I know the biggest objection is like, oh, but like I can't go, like I need revenue. But my question to you is like, do you really need, like, because you're telling me basically like, oh, like I need that revenue next month. And what you're also telling me is I don't want more revenue over the next like 6 to 12 months. That's basically what you're saying, because you're constantly going to get stuck in that loop. And so we need to, like, you're going to need to create space for yourself to have a bit of a gap as you level up to the next caliber of client. And that can feel really scary, but as someone who's done this twice in my business, once when I decided to go from $150 offer to a $1,800 done for you offer, and when I pivoted my business in February from done for you services to coaching, I'm going to be honest with you, like I'm still in the chasm from leveling up because I pivoted to coaching and I leveled up my prices and I leveled up the caliber of client, that I work with. I'm still catching up. Like it's been like 4 or 5 months. I'm still catching up. But the point is I'm building for the future because I know that if I don't cross this chasm right now, I'm never going to get to 20K months. I'm never going to get to 30K months because I'm constantly going to be stuck in this loop, right? And so the question that I have for you today is, are you going to keep working with the same level of clients because you're scared that you can't survive without revenue for like 1 to 2 months? Or are you going to make the decision to level up, deal with the chasm, and trust that you can reach this higher level? Because it's really hard to reach that higher level without making that leap. So that's my question for you for today. Drop a thing in the chat if this is landing for you. If you're like, I'm ready to level up the caliber of client that I work with. I'm ready to stop selling my time for money. I want to be the business owner who magnetizes clients for my personality specifically. Drop it in the chat. Hey, Darren, jumping in right as I'm wrapping up. But yeah, so let me know, send me a message if this landed, send me a message if you like this live, going from freelancer to business owner. I covered about 5 points on what you need to do to start leveling up. And the biggest thing is content. Content is what's going to differentiate you and show your true brand to the world and magnetize people and let you actually raise the standard for the types of clients that you work with, because you're actually selling a transformation, right? You're not just selling a service, but you're actually showing people how you can go take them from A to B. All right, so that's all I got today. So again, a reminder, if you are interested in learning more about this content membership that I'm putting together, this is your chance to co-create something that you want to look exactly like you want. So send me a message on Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever, and I'll be happy to share some early deets, but also get some thoughts for you on what you would want in that membership. All right, so have a great Tuesday, everyone. Next week, I'm actually looking to see what we're going to be covering next week. Haven't actually decided on the topic. So if you guys have some topic requests for Baddie Diaries for next week, again, hit me up in the DMs. I want your ideas. But I'm going to drop off for now and hope you have a great day. And again, think about how you're going to level up the clients that you work with so that you can go from freelancer to business owner and start making bank in your business for the long run. I'm so excited for you, Baddie. This was great as always, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.